Welcome back to Girl Talk. We're filming at Bella Domicile on the west side of Madison. Later we'll talk with the owner, Dan Luck, and he'll help us navigate those tough decisions regarding budget and designs, choices, and all of that. But first, if you have a student athlete in your life, whether you're a parent, a coach, an educator, you're going to want to meet our next guest. The Dean Foundation recently started a new program for concussion management and education. With us, we are lucky to have Dr. Brian Reeder. He is the medical director for this new program. Brian, thanks for coming in.
Good morning, thanks.
This is an important topic, and there are lots of kids out there in sports, not just football, too.
Right.
So first, we know concussions are kind of an invisible injury. Tell us more about what a concussion is and what's going on with that.
Well, concussion is more of a functional injury to the brain. Structurally, we really don't see a whole lot, but the functional component, meaning how people react, the symptoms that they can have can be quite broad based on a trauma to the brain or even a whipping effect of the head. The brain is inside the skull and it can kind of bounce around inside there, and so that micro trauma that can happen can cause quite a bit of problems for young athletes.
What are some of the ways that young athletes can prevent concussions from happening?
Prevention's always on the top of our minds, of course. The youth football programs and a lot of the other collision type sports have made changes in the way they practice as far as how many days they actually have contact and how many times kids are exposed to that potential injury. A lot of the other focus is based on safe tackling techniques, safe heading techniques, so that young kids aren't putting their head first in the game and using it as a weapon.
Sure.
Absolutely. So obviously prevention is ideal,
right.
But if we are beyond prevention and a concussion does occur, let's talk a little bit about healing and what that process looks like as far as recovery goes. Are there steps to take, or what does that look like?
Yeah, most definitely. And that's one of the main focuses of the Dean Foundation's work, is to help educate what can parents do, what kind of things should they be looking for. And there's three main areas that we think about with head injury recovery. The first is cognitive rest, so allowing the brain to recover, decreasing all that stimulus that comes in with video games and texting and TVs, time on the phone, lots of heavy social interactions, sporting events that are loud and noisy. So it doesn't mean just not playing the sport, it means really allowing the brain to recover. And then when things are better from there, then we want to help them get back into school, because a student athlete is that first, they're a student. And we have to have them be doing well in school. Finally, we get them back into their passion of the sport. But that stepwise progression is very important to make sure that they do well in all facets of their life.
Very well-rounded approach to recovery. That's nice to hear, that you can even get them back into the sport that they love. So
I found that very interesting when I was reading more about it, that not only do you need just the rest away from the sport, but staying away from, like you were saying, texting and video games, things that are really stimulating the brain. One that I had read that students might buy into is the studying or even test taking.
Well, and it is an important factor. I liken it sometimes to a child having a broken leg, and we wouldn't expect them to run a race with that. Just similarly, if the brain is injured, it's hard for them to do well.
Sure.
And we need to respect that and recognize that as parents and educators and coaches, we really need to be an advocate for those athletes to do well in school.
And if they don't take that rest properly and go through the steps you described, what are the risks involved with that?
Well, one of the big things is continuing to struggle with symptoms, so that the more that stimulus happens and kind of picks the scab, if you will, or continues to irritate things, it lasts longer. And then there's frustration amongst the parents and the kid and the coaches and all of those involved, and that can lead to children feeling withdrawn and not doing well in their school, which again is important. The long-term effects of concussion, some folks recover very quickly and are back to themselves within days and weeks, but some folks do really struggle for months and months and even years
That would be
with those post-concussive symptoms.
yeah, tough stuff.
Kind of like running on that hurt ankle too soon and just perpetuating.
Rehabilitating it, right.
Yeah.
The need to really get that ankle strong again and have it be back before you start sprinting on it. We want to be able to tolerate walking and biking first.
Dr. Brian, this is a really interesting topic. I wish we had more time to to cover more
Yeah,
about
I
it.
could talk all day.
Right, and so could we. It's very interesting and important.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in. And they can go to your website to learn more. You have lots of little videos that people can watch too.
Yeah, the Dean Foundation has created this webpage, beheadsmart.org, to try to put that education out there for folks.
Very good. Check out that website. They do have lots of great educational tools, again, if you have a student athlete in your life. Stay with us. We'll be right back with the owner of Bella Domicile, who's going to help us navigate those tough decisions regarding budgeting and design choices in your kitchen or bath. We'll be right back.